I woke up on a huge wooden raft in the middle of the ocean. My head hurt like crazy. When I looked around, all I saw was water everywhere. And lying all around me on the raft were the 42 girls from my art class, plus our teacher. I'm the only guy? Before I could even figure out what was happening, a strange voice spoke inside all our heads. It told us we were in some kind of ocean survival game. There were rules. Each group gets a raft, and each raft has a captain. If the captain dies, the raft sinks. We could awaken special talents, collect materials from the sea, upgrade our raft into a ship, and fight sea creatures that come out at night. Every week, there'd be a tsunami, and every month we'd drift into a new sea area. The girls weren't even scared. They were excited, like it was some kind of adventure. I checked my panel and found out I was the captain. Great. So if I die, everyone goes down with me. No pressure at all. Our teacher, Lin Jixia, took charge right away. She's calm and smart, perfect for this. Her talent was SS level, called strategic insight. It makes her think and react 3 times faster than normal. Then others shared their talents too. When Ruan got an A-level fortune-telling ability. Her twin sister Wensa got an A-level combat skill. One girl got an S-level dragon maiden talent with a dragon egg she can hatch in 10 days. Even the girl who got pulled in while taking a bath had a useful bubble power that lets people breathe underwater. Then everyone looked at me. I opened my status and saw my talent. SSS level, Overlord body. My strength grows by 1 point every single day with no limit. Give me enough time, and I'll be unstoppable. But that wasn't all. A secret system activated in my head. The Many Descendants system. Every time I have a new child, I get to turn one item into an unlimited version. Like, a single bottle of water becomes infinite water. Forever. An endlessly growing body, plus a system that gives unlimited resources. I took a deep breath. This was the perfect start. When I told everyone about my Many Descendants system, I called it More Children, More Blessings, to keep it simple. I explained that if I have a child with someone, I can turn one item into an unlimited supply, infinite food, water, whatever we need. The raft went dead silent. Then everyone lost it. The girls couldn't believe it. They quickly figured out that since I'm the only guy here and also the captain, my survival is everything. If I die, the raft sinks and we all die. So not only do they need to protect me, but they also need to help me use my ability. That made things pretty awkward. A lot of faces turned red. Some girls started teasing their friends about volunteering. Even our teacher, Lin Jixia, blushed a little, though I could tell she was already thinking about the strategic value of my power. Of course, none of that could happen right now. We were all still students just half an hour ago, and the raft didn't even have walls. No privacy at all. I figured I'd just have to be patient. Once supplies got tight enough, people would come around on their own. Then when Juan snapped me back to reality by asking about my captain powers. Turns out I had the word, captain, floating above my head in gold letters. Basically a giant target sign for enemies. Great. As for my actual captain abilities, I could steer the raft, expand and modify it, and share permissions with everyone. I joked that I could also throw anyone who disobeyed into the sea. A few girls actually stepped back in fear. Lin Jixia cut in and got us focused. She reminded everyone that dangerous creatures would come at night, so we needed to build walls fast. Food and fresh water were also urgent problems. At the edge of the raft, we found over 40 fishing rods, our starting equipment. I grabbed one and cast it into the water. The girls followed, and soon all of us were lined up around the raft, trying to catch our first meal in this ocean world. We fished for over an hour and caught almost nothing. The girls were exhausted and complaining. No fish were biting. One girl pulled up a wooden box with just a piece of moldy bread inside. The ocean was even stingier with resources than I expected. That's when I remembered Ruan's fortune-telling ability. I asked her to use it so we could see what kind of luck we had today. She closed her eyes, and a bamboo tube appeared in her hand. She shook it and said something like, "Please let me draw a really lucky one," which the other girls immediately turned into a joke about me. Poor Ruan turned completely red. Her twin sister Wensa stepped in to protect her and shut everyone up. Then when Ruan flipped the tube and a single stick fell out. It said, "Great misfortune." On the back it warned us to build a shelter before nightfall, or something terrible would happen. The laughter died instantly. Everyone got serious fast. Lin Jixia took charge, and told everyone to keep fishing. We needed wood to build a shelter before dark. Nobody complained this time. Everyone fished in silence, as hard as they could. By sunset, after a whole afternoon of work, 43 of us had only managed to pull up 112 wooden planks, 5 bottles of water, and 15 pieces of compressed bread. Not much at all, but 112 planks was just enough. I walked over to the pile and gave the command to build a cabin, 5 meters long, 4 meters wide, 2 meters tall. The planks floated into the air on their own and snapped together like a video game building system. In seconds, we had a small wooden cabin with 4 walls, a roof, and a door. The girls were amazed, but I wasn't relaxed. The sun was disappearing fast, and darkness was coming. I told everyone to get inside. No one goes out tonight. The cabin was tiny. 43 of us crammed into about 20 square meters, shoulder to shoulder, barely able to move. The girls pushed me to the center, saying I was the captain and needed to stay safe. Lin Jixia was on my left, Wen Ruan on my right, and the dragon girl was behind me. The mix of shampoo, body wash, and warmth everywhere was a lot to handle. I pulled out our supplies, 5 bottles of water and 15 pieces of bread. Lin Jixia helped manage things. Everyone got 1 small sip and 1/3 of a piece of bread. The girls were careful and didn't take more than their share. When 2 girls handed me the last 2 bottles at the same time, both looking at me with hopeful eyes, I felt the tension. I quickly took both, handed one to Lin Jixia, and drank from the other myself. Crisis avoided. I couldn't resist teasing Wen Ruan a little by holding the last piece of bread to her lips. She froze, looking at me with wide eyes. The other girls went crazy teasing her. Then Wen Sa snatched the bread from my hand, stuffed it in her sister's mouth, and glared at me. Everyone laughed, and the fear from earlier faded a bit. As exhaustion took over, people started leaning on each other to sleep. I was drifting off too, when boom. Something slammed the raft from below. The whole thing dropped and shook violently. Everyone woke up screaming and crashing into each other. The storm outside was insane, wind howling, waves smashing against the walls. Then one girl screamed about a ghost. We all looked where she was pointing. Through a gap between the wooden planks, there was a massive blood-red eye, as big as a basketball, with a vertical pupil. It was staring right at us, scanning everyone inside like we were prey. Then a huge mouth appeared next to it, stretching wide into a creepy, silent grin. The cabin went dead quiet. Then one girl started crying, and that set everyone off. Screaming, sobbing, total panic. Even Lin Jixia grabbed my arm, so hard her nails almost broke my skin. Wen Sa pulled out a dagger and stood guard in front of her sister, shaking but ready to fight. Everyone rushed toward me. I was the captain, the only guy, and right now, the only thing they could hold on to. I was getting crushed from all sides. But somehow, I felt completely calm. Maybe it was my overlord body kicking in. I looked past the crowd at that red eye still watching us through the wall. The creature couldn't get in, for now. But this flimsy raft wouldn't last. The rules said a tsunami comes every 7 days. If we didn't upgrade this raft into a real ship before then, we were all dead. I made up my mind. Starting tomorrow, we gather materials fast and build something strong enough to survive what's coming. When sunlight came through the cracks in the walls, I knew we'd made it through the night. I was the first to get up, and as I stretched, I felt a warm energy flow through my body. My overlord body talent had kicked in, 1 point of strength just for surviving another day. Yesterday, I was a regular college student. Today I felt like I could punch a bull. I opened the door and let in the fresh sea air. Everyone looked tired but glad to be alive. Lin Jixia pulled herself together fast and reminded everyone that last night's monster was proof we couldn't waste any time. We held a morning meeting on the deck. I laid out our plan. First, get food and water. Second, upgrade the raft. At level 2 it handles waves better, and at level 5 it becomes a real ship. Third, learn to use our talents. The mood got lighter as people started showing off their abilities. Su Tao, the bubble girl, went first. She puffed up her cheeks and blew out a pink bubble that grew bigger than a person. One brave girl poked it and got sucked inside, floating up into the air. She loved it at first, then panicked about the height. When Su Tao popped the bubble, the girl dropped straight onto her back. Everyone cracked up. It looked silly, but for defense or underwater diving, that power was actually really useful. Then came Ying Yao, the S-rank dragon maiden. She held her glowing dragon egg and told us it needed body warmth to hatch. So she sat cross-legged and hugged the egg on her lap like a mother hen. Another girl teased her about it, and Ying Yao shot back that once her dragon hatched, it would chase that girl first. Everyone laughed. Even Lin Zhixiao smiled. I caught her glancing at me with a softer look than usual. Once the fun was over, I got everyone back to work. Su Tao and Ying Yao stayed behind to practice their skills. Everyone else grabbed a fishing rod and headed to the edge of the raft. Our goal was simple: survive tonight and eat a real meal. The midday heat was brutal. The raft felt like an oven, and everyone was dripping with sweat. I asked when Ruan to use her fortune-telling again. She shook her bamboo tube and pulled out a stick. Small luck. Not great, but better than yesterday's disaster. And it seemed to work. Not long after, my fishing rod bent hard. I pulled with everything I had, and up came a black iron treasure chest covered in seaweed. The girls went wild. Inside we found 50 wooden planks, 2 pieces of moldy bread, and the real prize, a blueprint for a basic workbench. Lin Zhixiao's eyes lit up immediately. A workbench meant we could craft real things. I learned the blueprint, tossed in some wood and nails, and a proper workbench appeared on the deck with hammers and saws lined up neatly. The crafting list was exciting. We could make an iron fire pit for cooking and scaring off weak creatures, an iron pot for hot meals, a water purifier to turn seawater into drinking water. Real survival tools. But then reality hit. We didn't have any iron, plastic, or charcoal. The blueprint was useless without materials. I told everyone not to give up. If we could fish up a blueprint, we could fish up materials too. So we kept at it all afternoon. By sunset, we'd gathered over 300 wooden planks, which was good. But food was a different story. 43 of us had only caught 3 small fish and 5 packs of compressed biscuits. That was nowhere near enough to feed everyone. As darkness crept in again, stomachs were growling everywhere. The hunger was becoming harder to deal with than the fear of monsters. I could see it in everyone's faces. They were tired, starving, and starting to lose their patience. Night came again. The cabin was bigger now thanks to the extra planks, so at least we weren't packed like sardines. I'd built a small separate room in the corner, my captain's cabin, with just a curtain for a door. I divided our tiny food supply into 43 portions. Each person got a sip of water and a biscuit piece no bigger than a finger. It wasn't enough. You could hear stomachs growling everywhere, and the hunger just got worse after eating so little. Then someone whispered, "If only we could have endless water." Every pair of eyes turned to me. No more jokes or teasing, just raw, desperate need. They were all thinking the same thing. My ability could give us unlimited supplies. All it took was, well, a child. I felt the weight of all those stares. I stood up, told everyone to get some sleep, and went behind my curtain to lie down. The girls needed to come to this decision on their own. I wasn't going to force anything. Outside, the monsters were scratching at the cabin walls again. That awful scraping sound mixed with the silence made everything feel heavier. I lay there in the dark, hands behind my head, listening. I could hear the twins talking, when Sa complaining about thirst, when Ruan saying she was hungry. Everyone was suffering. I was waiting, not just for survival's sake, but because I understood something important. Unlimited supplies weren't just about food and water. They were the key to real leadership. If I controlled that, these girls would truly follow me, not just tolerate me as captain. Then the curtain moved. A hand lifted the edge, and I caught a familiar scent. It was Lin Zhixiao, my teacher, the woman who was always composed and in control, now standing there with a flushed face, biting her lip. She whispered that she wanted to talk about the supplies. But we both knew this wasn't really about talking. I reached out, took her wrist, and gently pulled her inside. "If we're going to talk seriously," I said quietly, "you should come in." That shows sincerity. Last night's moment with Lin Zhixiao was cut short. Just when things were getting somewhere, a huge crash shook the raft. She got thrown against the wall, snapped back to reality, and ran out saying she wasn't ready. I lay there staring at the ceiling, furious at the timing. Those monsters outside would pay for that someday. The next morning was rough. Nobody had slept well. The monster noise had kept everyone up. Lin Zhixiao avoided my eyes when I came out, her cheeks turning pink. I told Wen Ruan to do her fortune-telling again. Half asleep, she shook her bamboo tube and pulled out a stick. Her eyes went wide. "Great fortune," The description on the back was ridiculous, something about finding treasure with every cast and meeting someone special if you turn right. It even joked about there being no traffic lights at sea. But the luck was real. The whole morning was incredible. Fish after fish, box after box. The sea just kept giving. Metal pieces, plastic, charcoal, bottled water, bread, big fish. By noon we had way more supplies than the last 2 days combined. 500 wood planks, 25 metal pieces, 32 plastic, 10 charcoal, 24 bottles of water, 30 bread, and 17 fish. Everyone finally ate a decent amount, half a bottle of water and a big piece of bread each. Then I went to the workbench and built an iron fire pit and an iron pot. The girls went crazy. Some of them cleaned the fish, clumsily, but with total focus. They boiled the fish in seawater. No seasoning at all, but after 3 days of nothing but dry bread, the smell of hot fish soup was the best thing in the world. Everyone gathered around the pot, like hungry baby birds. I sat alone in the corner and checked my panel. Spouse, 0. Children, 0. Item conversions, 0. My constitution had gone up to 13 from the overlord body, which was nice. But here was the irony. With luck this good and plenty of food coming in, nobody felt desperate enough to help me activate my system. The better our luck, the less urgently anyone needed my more children, more blessings ability. I sighed. What a weird problem to have. After the fish soup, everyone felt alive again. The lucky streak continued all afternoon. Supplies kept coming up like the sea was handing us presents. While the girls fished, I checked my captain's panel and found something important. We were in a place called the Shadow Wind Sea. It explained everything. This area had very low material drop rates and double the monsters at night. No wonder the first 2 days were so brutal. We were basically playing on hard mode from the start. We'd be stuck here for 27 more days before the raft drifted to a new sea area. When I told everyone, the mood dipped again. A whole month of extra monsters? But I got them refocused fast. I pulled up the upgrade requirements for a level 2 raft. 800 planks, 50 iron blocks, and 50 plastic. With today's luck, we had a real shot at upgrading before dark. Everyone got back to fishing with new energy. Then Lin Jixia pulled me into the captain's cabin. She apologized for running away last night. She told me, face red as a tomato, that she'd never been in that kind of situation before. She asked if we could take things slow and build trust first. She even told me to stop calling her teacher Lin and just call her Jixia, or Sister Jixia. All my frustration from the night before melted away. She was being honest, and I respected that. I told her I understood and wouldn't push her. But I couldn't help testing the waters a little. I asked if I could look at her leg. She froze, blushed even harder, but quietly said okay. Then I had her sit on the wooden bed and started massaging her lower leg. She tensed up and asked what I was doing. I told her I was just helping her relax. She'd been on her feet all day. While I was massaging Jixia's leg, Yao burst through the curtain to tell me we'd gathered enough materials. She saw us and froze, then stammered, "I didn't see anything," and ran off. Jixia turned bright red, pulled her leg away, and rushed out. I went after Yao and pinched her cheek as payback, threatening to turn her dragon egg into a tea egg if she interrupted me again. But the good news was real. The girls had collected 821 planks, 55 iron blocks, and 63 plastic. More than enough. I used the materials to upgrade our raft to level 2. The deck got thicker and smoother, the raft expanded by a quarter, and we got a half-meter fence around the edge. Best of all, I unlocked chat channels. One for our sea area, and one for the whole world. The sea area chat was full of complaints. Everyone in the Shadow Wind Sea was struggling, just like us. Our lucky day was thanks to Ruan's fortune ability. The world chat was way more interesting. Some people were already at level 3 or 4. Different sea areas gave different resources. At level 3, a trading market unlocks, which means my unlimited supply ability could make us incredibly rich. Then big news hit the world chat. At level 5, rafts become real ships. But you need a storm core from surviving the first tsunami, which was coming in 4 days. And the first captain to reach ship level would get 3 epic treasure chests with purple quality gear. Everyone looked at me and Jixia. We all knew what that meant. We needed my system activated. Unlimited resources to trade and upgrade fast. That night, Jixia came to me. She'd made her decision. She said she was willing to give herself to me for everyone's future. She knelt down, looked me in the eye, and asked me to be gentle. I could see it wasn't impulse. It was sacrifice. I respected her even more for it. But just as things were about to happen, a massive explosion of light erupted from the other end of the raft. Ying Yao's dragon egg was hatching early. Golden lightning and red flames poured out of the cracking shell, and the monsters outside screamed and fled. Jixia and I rushed out. Something was wrong. Ying Yao's energy was being drained into the egg. Her face was pale and twisted with pain. Some girls wanted to stop her, but I told them no. This was her instinct. The egg was hatching early because it sensed the tsunami coming. Stopping her now could destroy her talent. Instead, I had everyone feed her food and water while guarding her. Then I sat in front of her, held her hands, and used my overlord body to transfer energy into her. The system called it energy sharing. It converted my strength into life energy. It drained me, but her face slowly relaxed. We all stayed up that night, protecting Ying Yao as golden light shot into the sky and the dragon egg cracked open piece by piece. Something powerful was about to be born. By morning, the dragon egg finally shattered. No big explosion, just a soft glow of red and purple light. Out floated a tiny creature the size of my palm, covered in red gold scales with big golden eyes, little horns, and a tail tipped with a golden flame. It was adorable. It made a soft ing sound and rubbed against Ying Yao's cheek. She was exhausted but smiled when she saw her dragon. Then the little thing noticed me. I must have looked terrible, pale as paper with dark circles under my eyes from transferring energy all night. The dragon shot into my arms like a little fireball, nuzzling my chest and licking my chin, acting like I was its dad, and it was scared I'd die. That set everyone off. Ying Yao rushed over crying, saying it was all her fault. Then half the girls started crying too, crowding around me, squeezing me so tight I could barely breathe. Jixia had to yell at everyone to back off before they actually suffocated me. I checked my panel. My constitution had dropped from 13 all the way down to 9. The energy transfer had cost me big time. But then I saw something new. I'd gained a second talent, Dragon Warrior S level. Because I'd poured my overlord body energy into the egg during hatching, the dragon cub bonded with me through a soul contract. I could merge with it to become a dragon warrior, boosted strength, speed, and elemental resistance. Plus, all dragon creatures would naturally be friendly to me. The system even called me Dragon Father. On top of that, my overlord body got a new node. I could speed up gaining strength by eating high-quality, energy-rich food. Regular bread and water wouldn't cut it, but special food could supercharge my growth. Ying Yao pushed everyone away and personally fed me water and bread. I still read, saying she'd make it up to me. She put the little dragon back in my arms, and it licked my cheek gently. I told her I was fine, not that weak. She smiled through her tears, clearly not believing me, but trying to cheer up anyway. After some rest, I started feeling better. My overlord body recovery was faster than a normal person's, even with my constitution drained. When Ruan drew another fortune, good luck again. That girl was turning into our lucky charm. I laid out the plan. We had 3 days until the tsunami. I wanted to reach level 4 before it hit. The material costs were huge. Level 3 needed 1,500 planks, 100 iron, and 100 plastic. Level 4 needed even more. The numbers scared everyone, but I told them not to worry. With good luck on our side, anything was possible. I had the girls make wooden stools so they could sit while fishing instead of standing all day. A small thing, but it made everyone happy and motivated. Sometimes little gestures matter more than big speeches. At noon, we had fish soup again. The mood was light. Some girls cracked jokes about how tired I looked after last night, which made Ruan turn red as a tomato. I pretended not to hear. Then Jixia came to me quietly. She took my hand. Her fingers were cold, but her grip was firm. She told me we couldn't wait any longer. Her plan matched mine perfectly. Unlock the trading market at level 3, use my unlimited supply ability to trade for materials, then rush to level 4 or even 5 before the tsunami. That was our only shot at the epic treasure chests. I told her she was brilliant. She blushed and rolled her eyes at me. Nearby, some girls were whispering about us, and I noticed Ruan sitting quietly with her fishing rod, looking a little sad. Her sister Wensa was nudging her, telling her to make a move before it was too late. Apparently when Ruan had liked me for 3 years. I didn't know what to think about that. By evening, we had enough materials. I upgraded the raft to level 3, and the trading market unlocked. A glowing blue screen appeared showing all kinds of items for sale: weapons, skill books, food, coral jewelry. People from different sea areas were trading everything. But we couldn't afford any of it yet. We had nothing special to offer. Then one girl said it out loud. Once I unlock unlimited supplies, the entire trading market becomes our personal cash machine. We could trade for anything. Every pair of eyes turned toward me and Jixia, and then toward the curtain of the captain's cabin. Tonight had to be the night. That night, everyone knew what was about to happen. The girls quietly went to their spots, but nobody could sleep. All eyes kept drifting toward my curtain. I took Jixia's hand and led her into the captain's cabin. The curtain closed behind us. It was a long night. But when morning came, I checked my panel. Not pregnant. I couldn't believe it. All that effort for nothing. So I grabbed Jixia's wrist and pulled her back inside. In broad daylight. The girls outside were shocked, but I didn't care. This had to work. By sunset, Jixia stumbled out on shaky legs. I collapsed on the bed. Then the golden notification appeared. Lin Jixia was pregnant. With twins. 2 babies meant 2 chances to make any item unlimited. I almost cried from happiness. When I told Jixia, she touched her belly and went through about 10 emotions at once. Shock, shyness, and finally a warm glow I'd never seen on her face before. I walked out and announced the news. Then I pulled out bottles of pure water and used my first unlimited conversion on them. Instantly, my inventory showed. Farmer's Pure Water X 999999. The raft exploded with cheering. Girls were jumping, crying, hugging each other. I summoned a mountain of water bottles onto the deck and told everyone to drink freely. They rushed over and gulped it down like they'd never tasted water before. Next, I opened the trading market. I listed 100 bottles of water and got 400 iron blocks in under 3 seconds. Water was gold in this ocean world. There was a daily limit of 10 trades, but that still meant 1,000 bottles a day, plenty to trade for materials. I used my remaining trades to get planks, iron, plastic, and food. One special item caught my eye: a golden dragon fish, blue excellent grade. It contained pure life energy. I had it cooked into soup and ate it. My overlord body triggered, giving me +10 to my physique. I jumped from 9 all the way to 20, the strength of 2 grown men. The little dragon tried to steal some too, but Yao pulled it away, calling it a little glutton. With Ruan's good luck blessing, the afternoon fishing was incredible. We pulled up over 50 pieces of rare fine wood. By evening, I had enough for the upgrade. I used 3,000 planks, 250 iron, 250 plastic, and 50 fine wood to push the raft to level 4. It expanded to the size of a basketball court, with taller fences and a second-floor lookout tower. Level 5, the ship form, needed way more materials plus something called a storm core, which could only be obtained during the tsunami. That was coming in 2 days. I opened the crafting list and found a new blueprint: simple crossbows and bolts. I looked at everyone and announced our next goal. Tomorrow, everyone gets armed with crossbows. I woke up to my little dragon licking my face. When I stepped outside, the girls were already waiting, full of energy. Unlimited water had done wonders. Everyone looked refreshed, and even their skin seemed better. I found Jixia leaning against the fence, watching the sea in the morning light. She smiled at me, and I walked over and took her hand. She blushed, but didn't pull away. I opened the trading market and used all 10 daily trades. 1,000 bottles of water got us enough materials for 25 crossbows and over 1,000 arrows. The raft turned into a weapons workshop. Girls carried materials, others followed blueprints at the workbench, and crossbows started rolling out one after another. Zhou Ling tested the first one, shot an arrow that buried itself completely in a piece of floating wood 10 meters away. The power was impressive. The girls cheered. Having weapons they could actually fight with changed everything. I handed out all 25 crossbows and had the armed girls practice while the rest kept fishing for materials. Then I made a mistake. I was talking to Jixia about getting her nutritional supplements after the tsunami, and I didn't keep my voice down. I called the babies our hope babies. Some girls overheard and got curious. So I just went ahead and announced it to everyone. I pulled Jixia into my arms and told the whole crew. Teacher Lin is pregnant with twins. Dead silence. Then the raft exploded. The girls went absolutely crazy. They swarmed Jixiao like she was the most precious thing on the ship, which she kind of was now. They made her sit down, offered to catch fish for her, brought her water. Jixiao kept insisting she was fine, but nobody listened. Ying Yao stood off to the side looking a little sad, holding her dragon. She glanced at me, then at Jixiao being treated like royalty, and I could tell she felt left out. The little dragon looked up at her confused. When Ruan was quiet too, standing in the corner with her head down. Her sister Wensa elbowed her again, telling her if she didn't make a move soon, it'd be too late. When Ruan just blushed and told her to stop talking nonsense. I watched all of this feeling pretty good. Jixiao's position on the raft was now rock solid. But my mind was already on the next problem, making sure she got proper nutrition. My babies weren't going to fall behind at the starting line. With 1 day left before the tsunami, I used all 10 trades to get materials for the remaining crossbows. Now all 42 girls were armed. Seeing them hold their weapons with confidence felt great. Then our luck kicked in. Su Tao fished up a blue skill book, Power Charge Strike. 1 minute of charging triples the damage of my next melee attack. Everyone agreed it should go to me since I had the strongest stamina from my overlord body. I learned it instantly. Right after, another girl pulled up a full set of green-grade iron armor, helmet, chest plate, leg guards, and boots. I gave it straight to Zhou Ling. She was our tank with her strongman talent, so the armor was perfect for her. She was so happy she bear hugged me in front of everyone. That evening, I opened the world chat. The tsunami was hours away, and everyone was buzzing. Long Out Yin was bragging about his level 4 raft. People in the normal sea were showing off their defenses. Meanwhile, guys in our Shadow Wind Sea were barely surviving with broken rafts and no hot food. The girls laughed and told me how grateful they were to have me. A few bold ones even snuck up and kissed me on the cheek. I looked at Jixia helplessly. She just shrugged with a smile that said, "You asked for this." Then the system announcement came. The first global tsunami hits at 9 a.m. tomorrow. First group to upgrade their raft to a ship gets 3 epic chests. This was our last night. After dinner, the girls asked to use water for baths. They hadn't washed in almost a week. I couldn't say no. I stacked hundreds of water bottles by the shower area we'd built from planks. They went in groups of 10. The sounds coming from inside, splashing, laughing, teasing each other, nearly killed me. I sat outside trying to stay calm, but my nose started bleeding. 3 hours of that was torture. When the last group came out smelling fresh, I walked over to Jixia. In front of everyone's horrified faces, I pulled her toward the captain's cabin. She protested. "We have a battle tomorrow." I told her that was exactly why we needed to practice tonight. The curtain closed. Outside, I could hear the girls cursing me and feeling sorry for Teacher Lin. But I had my reasons. Tomorrow could change everything. And I wasn't about to face a tsunami without giving it everything I had, in every sense. After another night with Jixiao, I was feeling good, until the whole raft started shaking violently at midnight. Monsters were climbing onto the deck from every direction. Then that annoying sea god's voice popped into my head, cheerfully telling us the tsunami in the Shadow Wind Sea comes at midnight, not 9 a.m. Like everywhere else. Thanks for the late notice. The rules were simple. Survive 1 hour. Kill monsters to shorten the timer. Don't kill them, and the waves get bigger until they destroy the raft. Jixia took command immediately. She assigned everyone positions. Zhou Ling in her iron armor took the front line like a human tank. When Sa darted around with her dagger, slicing monsters from behind. Su Tao blew giant bubbles to trap flying enemies. And Ying Yao merged with her dragon. Both of them lit up in gold and tore through waves of monsters with lightning and fire. Something new happened with Ying Yao's talent. Because I'd bonded with the dragon too, the S-level skill had evolved. Now either Ying Yao or I could fight alongside the dragon separately, instead of it only working solo. The girls with crossbows fired non-stop at anything that moved. Jixia used her strategic insight to call out weak points on the bigger monsters. When a massive starfish creature the size of a small building showed up, Jixia spotted its weak spot, an eye on its belly. I charged up my power slash for a full minute, then launched myself at it. A 10-meter sword beam cut it clean in half. That knocked 3 minutes off the timer. The last 5 minutes were the worst. Every monster charged at once in a suicidal frenzy. The waves grew enormous. I screamed at everyone to hold the line. Then the countdown hit 0. A long wail echoed across the sea, and everything stopped. The wind died. The waves calmed. The monsters retreated into the deep. We'd survived. A glowing blue crystal floated over to me, the storm core. I needed it plus a mountain of materials to upgrade to level 5. I was short on some, so I burned my last trading chances and used the monster drops to fill the gap. I hit upgrade. White light covered everything. The raft expanded, restructured, and transformed. When the light faded, we were standing on an actual ship. A real wooden ship with a proper deck, railings, and a lookout tower. Then the system announcement came. I was the first captain in the entire world to survive the tsunami and upgrade to a ship. 3 epic treasure chests would be delivered at 10 a.m. First in the world. I stood there, exhausted and covered in blood, and let the joy wash over me. We did it. First place in the entire world. When the global announcement went out at 10 a.m., the world chat exploded. Everyone was shocked that all 3 top spots went to the Shadow Wind Sea, the poorest, most brutal starting area. Long Outyin and the other big shots from the normal sea were furious. They'd spent days preparing, but we had a time advantage because our tsunami hit 9 hours early at midnight. We finished our exam before theirs even started. Before opening the chests, I had when Ruan do her fortune draw. Great luck again. That girl was our secret weapon. The first epic chest held a world sea area map. It showed the exact locations, routes, resource points, and islands across 4 main sea areas. This was priceless. No more drifting blindly. We could actually navigate to wherever we needed. Most importantly, we could finally leave this awful Shadow Wind Sea. The second chest had an epic skill book, shrimp soldiers, and crab generals. A summoning skill that calls an army of sea creatures to fight for you. It required 100 spirit power to learn. My spirit was only 40, but Jixia's SS level talent tripled her mental strength to over 300. It was made for her. She learned it and immediately tested it out. Over 300 armored shrimp and crab warriors burst from the sea and lined up around our ship. The girls screamed with excitement. Our fighting power just multiplied. The third chest was the biggest prize. A complete blueprint for something called the Great Wall at Sea, a luxury cruise ship combining defense, attack, production, and living spaces. It was basically a floating fortress and palace combined. But the materials needed were insane. 100,000 planks, 10,000 iron blocks, 5 storm cores, and tons of other rare stuff. The girls panicked at the numbers, but I reminded them, we have unlimited supplies. Others could never build this in a lifetime, but we're different. We still had one and used unlimited conversion, and once Jixia's twins were born, we'd get 2 more chances. With enough time, this dream ship was absolutely possible. I set our new goal, build the Great Wall at Sea. The girls cheered like crazy. Then I looked at the sea area map and smiled. With navigation, we didn't have to wait a month to leave. We could finally get out of this hellhole. I told everyone to calm down about the giant blueprint. Building a floating palace would take time, 1 step at a time. Right now, we had a more urgent problem, getting out of the Shadow Wind Sea. I spread out the World Sea map and showed everyone our 4 options: Normal Sea, Shadow Wind Sea, Rainbow Sea, and Bubble Sea. Then I pulled Jixia over. Her SS-level strategic insight could read information from the map that nobody else could see. She studied it for a few seconds and said we should head to the Rainbow Sea. Her talent told her it was the most stable area, mild weather, rich resources, and almost no monsters attacking on their own. The special materials there, rainbow coral and light prism pearls, were worth a fortune on the trading market. And most importantly, the rare colorful glasswood needed for our dream ship could only be found on special islands in the Rainbow Sea. That settled it instantly. Everyone was thrilled to leave this dark, monster-infested nightmare behind. But we had one problem. Our ship couldn't steer. It was just drifting with the waves. I checked the workbench and found 2 new blueprints, a simple rudder and a simple sail. Both needed fine wood, which was rare, but the monster drops from last night's battle had given us plenty. The girls got to work fast. Soon we had a metal and wood rudder installed at the stern, connected to a steering wheel on the lookout tower. A tall mast rose from the center of the deck with a big white sail that snapped open in the wind. I gripped the steering wheel and felt something click, like the ship became part of my body. This was the captain's connection. For the first time, I felt like a real captain, not just some guy on a raft. I checked the map. Rainbow Sea was southeast. I turned the wheel, announced our destination, and the sail filled with wind. The ship cut through the waves and started moving. Behind us, the shadow wind sea grew smaller. Ahead was something brighter. The girls cheered as we sailed toward the Rainbow Sea. Our real journey was just beginning. After a full day of sailing, we left the shadow wind sea behind. When morning came, everyone went silent at the sight before us. The dark, cold ocean was gone. In its place was a sea made of 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple stretching to the horizon. The air was warm and sweet. Dolphins jumped out of the rainbow water to greet us. The girls were over the moon. When Ruan came to do her daily fortune draw, this time, a pink glowing stick fell out. She took one look and turned red as a tomato. Her sister Wensa grabbed it and read it aloud. Peach blossom sign. Basically a love fortune. It said something about moonlight and a good person appearing in dreams. The girls went crazy teasing Ruan, saying it was obviously about me. I took the stick back from Wensa to save Ruan from dying of embarrassment, then pinched her soft cheek. She completely froze. I took her up to the lookout deck, saying I'd help her relax and enjoy the view. She was shaking like a leaf, claimed she was afraid of heights, but we both knew that wasn't why. I adjusted her posture, hands on her shoulders and back. She could barely breathe. Then I noticed her legs trembling and crouched down to check on her. She panicked, begging me not to look at her legs. Before things went further, Yao shouted from below, she'd spotted an island. I pulled out the map. It was Rainbow Island, the largest island in the Rainbow Sea. Rich resources, pleasant weather, and most importantly, colorful glasswood, one of the key materials for our dream ship. There was also a note about unknown energy at the island's center. We sailed straight for it. As we got close, Zhixia sent her army of shrimp soldiers and crab generals underwater to scout ahead. She reported the coast was safe, just harmless crabs and lizards. I picked Zhou Ling, Wensa, and Ying Yao as my landing team. We took a small boat to shore and entered the rainforest. The forest was beautiful, glowing trees, colorful plants, sweet-smelling air. We even ran into a cute jelly slime creature with fruits inside its body. Totally harmless. I told everyone not to kill it. No need to anger the locals. Then Wensa heard something, a woman's voice calling for help. We pushed through the bushes and found the wreckage of a destroyed raft. A woman lay near the debris, covered in blood with a deep claw wound on her stomach. She was barely alive. She looked at us and choked out a warning. Don't eat the fruit here. The gourmet. It will find you. Then her hand dropped, and she went still. Before I could even process it, something shot down from the treetops straight at Ying Yao's little dragon. The dragon dodged in a flash of golden light. The attacker landed on the ground, a huge black mantis with blade-like front legs and hungry compound eyes locked on my dragon. The system identified it as a gourmet mantis. Elite-level monster. Top predator on this island. It hunted high-energy creatures, and it was staring right at us. The gourmet mantis was fast, terrifyingly fast. It lunged straight at Ying Yao's little dragon. I didn't even think. My body moved on its own, and I tackled Ying Yao to the ground just as those blade arms whistled past my head, slicing off a few strands of my hair. This thing was an elite-level monster, and its level showed nothing but question marks. Not good. I gave quick orders. Zhou Ling raised her shield to protect Ying Yao and the dragon. Wensa vanished into the shadows. The mantis only cared about my dragon. It was literally drooling over it like a meal. I charged in. With my physique at 21, I was beyond normal human limits. I blocked its first sickle strike head-on. The impact cracked the ground under me, but I held firm. Its strength was scary-looking, but manageable. I pushed it back and landed a slash across its chest. Just a scratch, but I broke through its shell. Then it went berserk. Both sickle arms became a storm of blades. I was strong enough, but too slow. Zhixia saved me. Her strategic insight let her analyze the fight remotely and feed me instructions. She told me to step 3 paces left, and sure enough, a tiny opening appeared. I stabbed right into the mantis's joint. Green blood sprayed everywhere. Wensa appeared behind it for a backstab, but the mantis had hidden wings. It released a shockwave that sent her flying into a tree. She coughed up blood. When Ruan screamed for her sister. The mantis ignored us and flew straight at the dragon again. I couldn't catch it in time. Then, out of nowhere, a giant pink bubble dropped from the sky and trapped the mantis mid-flight. Su Tao, the shy bubble girl, had come through at the most critical moment. The mantis couldn't break free from the slippery bubble walls. I planted my sword and started charging my power slash. Ying Yao ordered the little dragon to blast the bubble with fire. The mantis screamed inside the inferno. Jixia called out, "Now!" I launched into the air with everything I had. Triple damage. My sword came down right through the mantis's head and split it in half. Green blood and guts exploded everywhere. We won. My constitution went up to 22. The rewards were incredible. An epic-grade mantis blade that could cut through almost anything, plus a blue excellent treasure chest. The mantis blade could even be forged into an epic weapon later. We carried the injured Wensa back to the ship. Once everyone was settled, I opened the blue chest with Ruan's hand on it for luck. 3 items inside. First, a skill book called Weakness Insight. Lets me spot enemy weak points during combat. I learned it myself since everyone agreed the captain's sword needed to be sharper. Second, a blueprint for a second-order armory that would unlock better weapons crafting. Third, a bottle of life essence, a golden healing liquid. I took the life essence straight to Wensa and dropped it in her mouth. 10 seconds later, her broken ribs snapped back together. She sat up in shock, completely healed. Ruan cried happy tears and hugged her sister. I looked back at Rainbow Island with new eyes. That elite monster had dropped amazing loot, and compared to Shadow Wind sea creatures, it was actually on the weaker side. There had to be more of them on that island. I was already planning my next move, turn Rainbow Island into our personal hunting ground and supply farm. That night, the Rainbow Sea was peaceful. A rainbow-colored moon hung in the sky, and the girls sat around a bonfire eating fish soup, laughing and teasing each other. It felt like a completely different world from the Shadow Wind Sea. I sat alone at the stern, thinking. The gourmet mantis had been a serious warning. Rainbow Island wasn't the paradise it looked like. That dying woman's words stuck with me. These predators hunted high-energy creatures, and everyone on our ship qualified as a target. Collecting the colorful glasswood wouldn't be as simple as just walking in and chopping trees. Jixia brought me a bowl of fish soup and sat beside me. She'd already sent her shrimp soldiers to patrol the waters around the island around the clock. Nothing would get near our ship without her knowing. I told her I felt much more at ease with her handling things. She said I didn't have to carry everything alone. We were a team. I asked about her pregnancy. She blushed and said she didn't feel anything yet. I told her seriously that from now on, she stays out of combat. She gives orders from the back. She's the most precious person on the ship. The girls nearby heard and immediately started teasing us. Jixia glared at me, but it was the kind of glare that had zero threat behind it. Then I went to check on Ruan. The girls had been surrounding her, teasing her about today's love fortune. When they saw me coming, they scattered instantly with knowing grins, leaving Ruan sitting alone on the ground looking like a deer in headlights. I crouched down and noticed a small cut on her palm, probably from a stone during the retreat earlier. She hadn't told anyone. I cleaned it with iodine and put a bandage on it. She sat perfectly still the whole time, barely breathing, her heart clearly pounding. When I finished, I looked up and our eyes met. The colorful moonlight reflected in her big, watery eyes. I could see everything in that gaze: nervousness, shyness, and something deeper she'd been holding back for a long time. My heart skipped a beat. I remembered her peach blossom fortune. Under the moon, a good person appears in dreams. I gently stroked her head and told her to always let me know right away if something happens. Then I leaned in close and whispered, so only she could hear, that tomorrow I'd take her to the lookout deck to enjoy the view. She could barely manage a tiny mm in response. Her cheeks were burning red. Next morning, I woke up feeling great. My physique hit 23, so I only needed a few hours of sleep. The deck was busy, girls fixing nets, cleaning crossbows, cooking breakfast. Everyone was happy and relaxed now that we had plenty of supplies and safety. I spotted Ruan crouched by the ship's edge, feeding fish to the colorful creatures in the sea. She looked a little lost in thought. I walked over and reminded her about our promise from last night, the lookout deck. Her eyes went wide. She couldn't believe I remembered. I took her hand and led her upstairs. Behind us, the girls cheered and giggled. Ying Yao muttered something jealous while her little dragon happily called out to me. Up on the lookout, the rainbow sea sparkled under the morning sun. Beautiful view. But when Ruan couldn't focus on any of it, she was a nervous wreck. I stood behind her, arms on the railing on either side, and told her to breathe, stand straight, and look at the distance. Then I did something sneaky. I activated my new weakness insight skill on her. Golden words appeared above her head, visible only to me. Her status read, extremely nervous, heartbeat rapid, feelings of admiration overflowing. Her weaknesses were hilarious. No resistance to anything I do up close, loves being praised and gently touched, and completely helpless against her sister's teasing. This skill was basically a cheat code for flirting. I gently rubbed her hair and told her she was braver than she thought. I called her Ruan. She practically melted. Her whole body went soft, and she grabbed the railing to keep from falling. I could see the happiness flooding through her. But then something caught my eye on Rainbow Island in the distance. A thin line of blue-gray smoke rising from the center of the dense forest. That wasn't natural fog, it was a campfire. Someone was on that island. The mood shifted instantly. The dying woman had warned us about gourmets, more than one. So who was making that smoke? Other survivors? Or something else entirely? I pulled out my telescope and zoomed in. Too far and too many trees to see clearly, but it definitely looked like a camp. I let go of Ruan's hand. The romantic moment was over. Rainbow Island was hiding something much bigger than beautiful trees and jelly slimes. Our island landing plan needed to happen sooner than I thought. After spotting the smoke on Rainbow Island, I called everyone together and told them what I saw. The girls got nervous. Other people on the island could mean friends or enemies. In this world, people can be scarier than monsters. I made the call. We're taking the island. We needed the colorful glasswood for our dream ship, and the elite monsters there dropped amazing loot. Rainbow Island had to be ours. But Jishao pointed out that our gear was still too weak. Yesterday's fight nearly cost us when Sa and drained Su Tao completely. If we ran into more gourmet mantises, we'd be in real trouble. We needed to upgrade our equipment first. I had the blueprint for a second-order armory, which would unlock way better weapons and armor. The problem was materials. We were short about 300 iron blocks. Trading was maxed out for the day, and iron was rare on the market. Fishing for it would take forever. Then I reminded everyone of something they'd forgotten. We still had one and used unlimited conversion. The room went dead quiet, then exploded with cheering. I pulled out a plain iron block and asked Jishao what she thought about making it our second unlimited resource. She nodded immediately, eyes shining. I activated the system. Golden light wrapped around the iron block, and when I checked my inventory, there it was. Iron blocks with an infinity symbol. Unlimited iron. Forever. With unlimited water, we'd solved survival. Now with unlimited iron, we had endless weapons, armor, and building materials. We weren't just surviving anymore. We had the power to dominate. I immediately upgraded the workbench to the second-order armory. A proper forging station appeared with quenching tanks and everything. The new crafting list was incredible. Refined iron crossbows, swords, full armor sets, tower shields. All green-grade equipment, and we could make as much as we wanted. I organized everyone. My landing team, Zhou Ling, Wen Sa, Ying Yao, Su Tao, and me, would get full refined iron armor and weapons first. Everyone else would upgrade to refined iron crossbows. The goal was to be fully armed before nightfall. The deck turned into a factory. Metal clanging, sparks flying, girls working nonstop. It was beautiful. I stood at the bow and looked out at Rainbow Island. Whoever was out there, survivors, natives, monsters, they were about to meet their new neighbors. And we weren't coming empty-handed. By sunset, my 5-person landing team was fully geared up. We looked like proper warriors, refined iron armor from head to toe, gleaming under the golden light. I had a heavy longsword. Zhou Ling carried a massive tower shield. Wen Sa had twin daggers at her waist. Ying Yao and Su Tao wore lighter armor with crossbows. I left Jishao in charge of the ship with her shrimp army patrolling the waters. The rest of the girls stayed behind to defend. Then the 5 of us rowed a small raft to Rainbow Island and landed on a hidden beach. We moved into the rainforest carefully. I had a special plant called pathfinding grass that Xiang Wanqing grew for us. It confirmed there were no deadly plants nearby. My weakness insight skill kept me alert to every movement around us. About 30 meters in, I spotted something in the treetops. A smaller gourmet mantis dropped down at Su Tao. Wen Sa intercepted it instantly. Her new gear made her fast enough to match it blade for blade. I called out its weak point. Zhou Ling smashed it with her shield. Then 3 of us fired crossbow bolts into its exposed abdomen. Dead in under 10 seconds. The same monster that nearly killed us 2 days ago couldn't even put up a fight now. It wasn't that they got weaker, we got stronger. We pushed deeper, cutting through spider-type and centipede-type elite monsters along the way. My weakness insight guided every attack. Zhou Ling tanked. Wen Sa and Ying Yao dealt damage. Su Tao controlled with bubbles. We were a well-oiled machine. No treasure chest drops, though, which was annoying. After about half an hour, the trees thinned out, and we heard voices. We crept up behind some thick bushes and found a small camp. A log fence, a campfire, and 7 or 8 rough-looking survivors sitting around it. They were thin, dirty, armed with crude stone weapons, and had hungry, dangerous eyes. The leader was a big man with a scar across his face, sharpening a stone axe. Before I could observe more, he suddenly looked straight at our hiding spot. Who's there? No point hiding anymore. I stepped out, and my team followed. The survivors froze when they saw us. 5 people in full shining metal armor, carrying real swords and crossbows. Compared to their sticks and stones, we must have looked like aliens. The scarred leader's eyes locked onto our gear. I could practically see the greed dripping off him. He swallowed hard, tried to look tough, and spoke in a rough voice. Who are you kids? Why are you on my territory, my territory? Jiang Yi couldn't help but laugh out loud. The 4 girls behind him looked at the scar-faced man as if he were a fool. In this post-apocalyptic world, they were still playing King of the Hill? If you're so awesome, why don't you fly to the sky? Kid, what are you laughing at? The scar-faced man, also the leader of this group of survivors, Wang Hu, immediately turned dark as a pot. His 7 or 8 followers behind him let out malicious chuckles, their eyes on the 4 girls behind Jiang Yi, filled with unhidden primitive desire. Damn, these girls are really pretty. Boss, if we strip off their armor, their figures will be even more amazing. And that twin ponytail girl, she looks like a real gem. Filthy words entered the ears. Jiang Ye's smile didn't change, but his eyes turned cold as ice. Sa-se, he spoke softly. Here, Wen Sa licked his lips, letting out a low, suppressed laugh, like a ghost about to pounce on its prey. Kill him. Jiang Yi only said 3 words. Understood. Wen Sa's figure instantly disappeared. Wang Hu's warning bells rang loudly in his mind. He only saw a flash before a deadly sense of danger made his hair stand on end. Be careful, he shouted. It was too late. The skinny monkey man, who had been shouting loudly just moments before, still had a lewd smile on his face, but a shadow like a ghost had already appeared behind him. A cold flash of light. Spurt. A thin bloodline appeared on the skinny monkey man's neck. He was incredulous, clutching his throat as blood gushed out from his fingers. He struggled, making a choking sound, then suddenly fell straight down. Instant kill. The entire camp fell silent immediately. Everyone was stunned by this quick and clean killing. You all are asking for trouble. Wang Hu's eyes turned red. He never expected that the other side would attack without saying a word. Kill them, he roared. He grabbed a stone axe and charged first. The others also reacted, howling as they rushed toward Jiang Yi and the others. Although these people had poor equipment, they had fought on the island for years and carried a fierce, fearless fighting spirit. Good timing, Zhou Ling shouted excitedly. She slammed her huge iron tower shield onto the ground, standing firm like a mountain in front. Bang, bang, bang. 3 or 4 men wildly hacked at the shield with wooden spears and stone knives, but only produced harsh metal screeches, leaving no marks. Are you just scratching me? Zhou Ling grinned, suddenly exerting force with her arm. Strongman talent activated. The huge tower shield, roaring with wind, was swung up forcefully, like a moving wall, and slammed forward. Bang! Bang! 2 survivors were knocked flying before they could scream, their chests caved in, blood spraying from their mouths. It looked like they wouldn't survive. Meanwhile, Ying Yao and Su Tao also raised their crossbows. Yao Yao, hit his left leg on the left side, Su Tao whispered. Yao Jiao snorted stubbornly but obediently adjusted her aim. Whoosh! The crossbow arrow hit the person's thigh precisely, causing him to scream and fall to the ground. Almost at the same time, Su Tao's arrow whistled through the air and struck him in the back, making a thud sound.